conversation because there's a place that you can go to and you can enter in her hashtag and it'll jump up the voice. Then she would go in it and people would be coming down and she'd go, oh my gosh, I love that song. What do you guys think? She wasn't saying, hey, look at me, I'm an artist. Because she was actually engaging these people. The funnier story with her and I is she's got over 100,000 Twitter followers. And I told her, I said, you need to go do a chat on Facebook. She's like, why? I said, no, use your Twitter to go say, hey, I'm going to hang out over on Facebook. So she did it. She went over, and the next thing you know, all these people like comments, she's leaving them back. The next thing you know, you're seeing 100 people, 200 comments, 300 comments, 400 comments. Then you go look at the times that she wasn't there, 6 comments, 2 shares, 1 like. You know, it just showed that if you go where the people have access to carry on these communications, but like David was saying, you can't carry on a communication with Twitter, but you can drive them to locations instantly to have another conversation with you someplace else.
She was driving them to her Twitter account using her own...
All they were doing was following her. She wasn't driving them anywhere. The first time she was just there talking, and then all of a sudden... What's that? Oh, she did. Yeah, she did. You know, and she would give personal things about, oh, I remember when I was there, I did this, and then all people are doing, all you do is you hit it and it's a follow, and then you just keep going with your conversation. So she would get more and more followers that they could go back and have a conversation with later. So the thing is that a lot of people are out buying followers now and buying likes, and that's what I told you. That's where you have to be careful. We had Jim Catino, who's the A&R guy from Sony, the other day, and I said, he was on with my students on the Blueprint. He goes, I said, are you looking at those numbers much anymore? He says, well, now that we really know people could go buy them, kind of like the MySpace friends, you were able to buy the friends. The bigger problem that you guys need to be careful of right now is that if you're putting your music up on iTunes, it's now being reported to SoundScan. Any smart label, when they say, wow, they got 100,000 followers and 50,000 likes, and holy crap, they've only sold 183 records. Not relevant, off to the next artist. You want to stay under the radar as best you can. You have the ability to sell your music to them directly right now. And honestly, no one's out searching your name on iTunes. So sometimes it's not even good to put it out there just to be able to say, hey, my music's up on iTunes, I'm legitimate. Not really, everybody's music's up on iTunes. But it depends on what it is you're going for. That's where I always tell people, be very, very careful what your goal is. If your goal is you want to be signed by a major label and you have the ability to put out your own music, grandpa's rich, dad's rich, somebody's rich and they're able to do these music. There's a situation like that going on right now in town, which is very dangerous. This young gal decided about the time Taylor was out that, heck, I'm a teenager, I write songs, I'm going to go out and we can afford to do this. So they kept putting song out, and 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 record out, and record out, and record out. After about 8 singles and 4 songs, this girl is now finally ready for a major label deal. She's good enough. If she would have done it under the radar, though, the record companies would be chomping at the bit to start funding this project. But the problem is the perception is she's had 8 failed singles at radio and 4 records that did not sell. And if they couldn't do it on grandpa's millions of dollars, how are they going to do it on their millions of dollars? So they would be more willing to go find another group that hadn't done that. And that was just bad guidance that this person had. The girl's awesome. She's fantastic. The guy meant well. But a lot of times what happens is business people who don't understand the music business come here and think that they can throw money at it because that's how it works under their businesses. And what I try to share with you guys is we're in a business, we're trying to function in a dysfunctional business. Our rewards are not in direct proportion to the work that we put in. And that sucks. If you think about it, you could do everything right. You could go to all the voice lessons and you could write the greatest songs in the world. There's a lot of luck that's involved with this. There's also a lot of work. Most people say, I am willing to do whatever it takes. And then once they find out how much work there is, they're not really. I can wake up every morning and go, I will do whatever it takes to be skinny. Well, I guess that didn't work, right? Look, I mean, that's what I mean. We all say what we want and we say what we're willing to do. There's a lot of work that goes into it. A lot of it's not fun. Everybody wants fame, but a lot of times they're not willing to pay the price of fame. So go through it as fast as you can, figure out where it is that you want, but there is a lot of great opportunities in the music business there's just not a lot of label opportunities available. And that's what I tell you guys. There's 10 labels and 10 artists. That means 100 people in the world in that genre are getting a shot at that business. Labels could only effectively market 4 at a time. So that means 60 people that were good enough to make the team aren't even in the game. I would much rather be outside of that team with the ability to put out music when I want to put it out, videos when I want to put it out, than sitting on the bench at a record label just so I could go to the tin roof and tell everybody I'm signed to a major label. Hold on to yourself as long as you possibly can so that you create the type of buzz where a label comes in and wants to be your partner. Where they sit there and they go, okay, holy cow, you've got stuff moving. You've sold 100,000 downloads. You're doing about 200 dates a year. Now, if we put our money and marketing and relationships behind you, now we can take it to the next level. I use Florida Georgia Line for that example. They went to everybody. Hey, pick us. Sorry, you guys are great. We don't have room. They go out and tour, sold 100,000 downloads on SoundScan. All of a sudden, nobody who had room found room. All of a sudden, they get signed on a Monday, sign their contracts on a Monday, ship their single to radio Monday night, charted on Tuesday, 17 weeks later, went #1. Because they went out and made all their rules. They were doing it their way. Now that doesn't happen often. They had a great song, but they also had the work ethic, the desire, and the drive to put their money. I always tell people, if you have an investor, put it in touring. Get yourself in front of as many people possible and become a badass performer. Get good at the acoustic side of things, because if you're saying, I want a record deal, the first year you're out acoustic. You're not out playing full band show, you're in conference rooms. Get real good at house parties with small audiences, with 2 or 3 people. Why? Because you're going to have to go put on a pretty happy smiley face when you walk into a conference room with a bunch of radio guys that could care less whether you're there, and you're going to have to rock their world with you and your guitar. Most people can't handle that. They play to who's not in the room, not to who is in the room. They get so upset because nobody's there. That's how it is, but that's the business. So what I chose to do was to create opportunities like this, to be honest with you guys, and tell you, this is the business you're wanting to go into, but it's never been better as far as making money right now, because there are music fans all over the world that want to know what you have and want to get to know you and want to buy your music. You've just got to be taught how to go out and find them. And that's what we're here to do, is to answer those questions and hopefully point you in that direction. What makes you different? Being pretty and able to sing does not make you different. It makes you like a whole bunch of people I see on TV every year on 5 different shows. But if you show up with the music, with the website, with the fan interaction, you're out doing the shows so that when your opportunity comes, you're able to walk into that label and say, you know what? Here's the deal. I'm ready to roll. I've been busting my butt on my own dime for the last however much long a time. And one of the things that Jim said, and it explained it a lot to me, it used to be that the major label artists sold a lot of records. So they were able to take some of that money and use it for development. And they could develop 5 or 6 artists, and hey, if some stick, they kept them and they put them out. And if they didn't, they just kind of shipped them off and went to the next batch. Because the major artists aren't selling as many records, the labels are needing you to come in a little bit more prepared. They need a little bit more of the development to lie on you guys to get done, and not come in and say, hey, make me famous. You know, what can you do for me? I'm the best little singer in South Dakota. Look at me. You know, every town has that person. Some go on to be big stars, some don't. Doesn't mean they can't have fun in the music business. You know, there's a lot of kids playing football. 1% make it to the NFL. Treat a major label deal like that. 1%. What are you going to do to make you the best 1% that's available, that's out there right now, where they want to come invest their time, their resources, and their energy in you? Questions, answers, advice?